I am really looking forward to this one. I look forward to all my interviews, but this one has a little special meaning to me because I interviewed this young lady 11 years ago, I guess it was something like that. And we're sitting here with Kaz Deery. Kaz, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I say Kaz, and we were just talking about it, but 11 years ago, you were this young 7-year-old superstar, really, is what I saw. And we got connected through mutual friends, and then I talked to your mom and dad. I said, boy, I'd really like to interview your daughter. And of course, they said, well, who's this guy, right? You know? But you were doing something for Relay for Life, and you raised, if I believe, it was $1,200.
I actually, I watched the video last night. I think it was 2,600, I think was the number. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Not to correct you.
No. That's even better, right? You know, like, but $2,600 at 7 years old.
Yeah.
And
just because it's fresh on the mind. And
you went out and did this on your own. I mean, you had support from mom and dad and that, but why was the Relay for Life so important to you back then?
I don't know. I think, you know, my family members had friends back then that were kind of like, well, not kind of, they were struggling with cancer.
Right.
And, you know, I'm 7 years old, and, you know, explaining the concept of cancer to a 7-year-old.
Dying.
Yeah. Dying and whatnot. And I just found it, well, I know everyone does, but I just found it really sad and heartbreaking. And, you know, there are like, there's a lot of research going on. So there's no like definite thing yet where it's like 100% cure rate, you know what I mean? Right. So I was just kind of thinking, you know, like what can I do to help these people? And somebody was talking to me about Relay for Life, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like actually a lot of fun, like getting to raise all money and all this money. And we started doing chocolate suckers, and then we had movie nights, and so that was a lot of fun. So it was raising money for an important cause, but it was also like I was enjoying the process of also doing it as well. It was, and then we got to walk around and do laps all night, and I was like this young kid full of energy, and I was like, this sounds awesome. And there were costumes, I'm pretty sure, like there was themes and whatnot. So we went as like 101 Dalmatians one year, and we had all these like suits with polka dots on it, and it was a lot of fun.
So you're just having fun and helping people at the same time.
Yeah, and it's kind of come a little bit full circle, actually, because at the time I didn't know anybody personally who had cancer. Right. And then I think it was 5 years ago now, my aunt actually passed away.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. But she had ovarian cancer.
Okay.
So I kind of got to see in real life just how important that money is, you know, especially with rarer cancers like ovarian cancer. Like I think the mortality rate, like not a lot of women unfortunately survive ovarian cancer. So I remember one of the first things she said to our family when she was breaking the news to us is, don't look it up, because she's a nurse, and so I think she already kind of knew. Right. You know, what the...
Don't go down any... Don't make it harder on yourself.
Yeah, what the course was going to look like. And so, I got to watch kind of in real time, like, you know, that there's not a lot that we can do right now, sadly, to help those people, you know, survive and be with their family. So... it was kind of strange. It kind of came full circle, and I was just like a young kid, and I was like, oh, I just want to help people. Didn't really know much about it, but I was like, you know, cancer sounds really sad. And
cancer sucks, right?
And then to have someone actually pass away of cancer. It was kind of this.
So thanks for sharing all of that.
No
It's
problem.
very personal. But it's 7 years old. I mean, you're 7 years old. A lot of 7-year-olds are like, they're just running around. I want more toys. I want to play.
Yeah.
So where did this caring heart that you have still, like, where did that come from?
Well, thank you for saying that. Probably my parents.
Yeah.
I mean, I know everyone kind of attributes everything back to their parents, but they raised us from a young age to be kind and caring people, and always look out for others before you look out for yourself. And like all my siblings are doing the same.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings.
Okay.
So I have 2 sisters and 1 brother.
Right. Poor guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
How old are they compared? So are you the middle, or?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay. You're 18 now.
Yeah.
Right?
And Patrick is 12.
Okay.
And Peyton is 14, and Kiva's 16.
Wow.
Sometimes it's hard to keep track of all their ages. Yeah, because we all have kind of scattered birthdays too, so I'm trying to keep tabs on.
So busy growing up then, I imagine. A busy house for mom and dad and everybody. Lots of running around going on, and
there's still a lot of
that going
running around going on, especially because everyone has their own little stuff that they do.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of music stuff, and Kiva is really into ninja and fitness.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and she's writing her own book, actually. So 2 kind of like completely opposite.
Kiva, you're on my list, by the way.
Yeah, 2 kind of completely opposite.
Well, creative
spectrum, yeah. And so she's really into writing, and Peyton's a dancer, so she dances at Apex, and she wants to be a professional ballerina when she grows up, and she's really...
And she loves Apex, and she loves Alex.
Yes.
I've heard her talk about it.
She adores Apex. She was actually saying, when I mentioned that you were coming over to do the interview, she's like, I might just, kind of walk by in my Apex t-shirt, while the camera's running.
Selfish promotion.
Yeah, a little cameo.
That's okay.
And Patrick does hockey. So everyone, like me and my siblings, are all very passionate about the stuff we do, which is nice because, like, to find something that you're so engaged with,
especially at a young age, quite honestly.
Yeah, and passionate about it. It's a lot of fun, and so we're all kind of running around constantly and doing our own little thing. And so for a while, my dad was the only one that drove. So he would go from gigs to hockey arenas to dance studios to like the obstacle courses and whatnot.
Super dad.
Yeah, super dad. And so now I just got my license, my G2 license at the very start of February.
Oh, congratulations.
So, thank you. So I've been helping out more with the driving and whatnot. And
you get excited to get your license, and then you get it, and you're like, some days I wish I didn't have my license.
Yeah.
But you do your part. Everybody, it sounds like. And then, of course, like when you're not doing music, you're probably supporting sister, trying to watch dance recitals, and you're watching hockey. And so you're a close family, it sounds like.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm very happy, and I often think to myself, I'm very blessed because I know a lot of people that aren't as close with their parents, unfortunately, and I just, I'm trying not to sound like braggy, but it's just, I have a really awesome family.
Yeah, no,
that's
not bragging at all. That's just showing gratefulness for that, right?
Yeah, no, and I just kind of think about that. A lot of times that we're very lucky to be so close knit and to have parents that are so involved with everything they do. Like they get upset when they have to miss a gig because they're at a dance recital and they're constantly apologizing to me. Oh, I'm so sorry to have missed your gig. And I'm like, well, you've been to
and then so dad was doing all the driving and stuff.
Yeah.
And then where's mom and all of that?
So she is extraordinary as well. She can't drive. I don't know if I meant to say that and put it to the internet, but I think she's a pretty open book when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But so she's, always like making sure that we have supper on time before we have to rush off to our activities. So we eat like old people. We kind of we eat around like, I think we eat dinner around like 4 p.m. every night because everyone's just rushing off. And like depending on the day, like I'm out of the house at 5 and Peyton's gone at 4:30. So we kind of try to eat earlier so everyone's taken care of. So she's always cooking the meals on time, and then she's making sure that we're all organized and getting to where we need to go. She's right, kind
of the glue, eh?
Yeah, and making the schedule out for Dad. Like, okay, here's stop number 1, stop number 2, stop number 3.
Great. Here's your map, Dad.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And we have like this big family calendar now that my dad's really proud of, and he keeps that updated, and so Mom's constantly giving him updates, and she's like the brains of the operation, planning out how everything's gonna go and whatnot.
Everybody's got their role, eh?
Yeah.
You don't use the digital calendar thing?
Yeah. It's like a digital. My dad's an IT guy.
Yeah.
So he's got it synced to all our different devices, and we all have like Peyton's got an Apple phone, and the rest of us all have Android. So
of course, there's always one.
Yeah, so he kind of figured out a way to do that all up, and so he's very, very proud of that. And sometimes we'll say something to him, and we'll go, "Oh, that's not on the family calendar." So somebody should have.
I hear you. My wife
somebody
Jennifer
should have added
calendar,
that.
And I'm like, didn't know, honey, it wasn't in the calendar.
Yeah.
And then I forget to put something in the calendar. So, well, you didn't put anyway. Yes, those things are important to keep us organized.
Yeah.
So, when you were younger, you were Aveline.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I first met you. And now you go by Kaz. This is kind of like a stage name for you. Talk about that.
I changed it like at the very start of high school, and it kind of just caught on.
Yeah.
In music, and so it's kind of like a stage name now. And I mean, a lot of artists kind of have stage names. I mean, Pink's real name is like Alicia, and Lady Gaga. I'm pretty sure her real name is like Stefani, and it goes on for a while. So she kind of shortened it to Lady Gaga. And Aveline is kind of a more, it's kind of hard to pronounce, and I think a lot of people, when they first look at it, they're like, what the heck is this?
I didn't know. I had to ask.
Yeah, so a lot of people, it's just easier sometimes to go Kaz, but it's funny because sometimes I'm like, I switched out of this to make it easier on people, and then some people are like, oh, how do you pronounce this name now? And
Kaz is a cool name.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like to think so, but I've gotten a lot of variations for both names actually, because Aveline all the time, like I had people pronouncing it like whenever the bank calls me, it's like the automated robot and whatnot. So it says like Abby H. Lynn. and so everyone's got their like Abhelin, and there's so many different ways people are pronouncing it. But I've gotten like Cass before.
Oh.
And some people have like thought for whatever reason it was short for like Kazakhstan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's some country apparently, and I don't know. I've had some weird questions, so it seems like it's honest. Sometimes it honestly confuses people as much as the original name did. But yeah, it's kind of stuck. So I'm thinking of like keeping it for music related things and arts and drama and whatnot, and then. Yeah, all my close friends and family all call me Aveline still. So I love both names, honestly, and I'm really like,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Because I'm really proud of Aveline too, even though it might not seem like it because it's not on all my social media or whatnot. But I love the name.
As long as mom and dad know. Yeah. It's really all that matters, right? Yeah. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So they supported that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got that. let's go back a little bit into younger years, and then growing through school, and I learned that you're really smart. And because you have a grandpa that's really proud of all of you, right? And he makes sure I'm informed often about you, and the whole family. But through school though, like high school, you haven't gone off to college or anything, and that was a decision. We'll talk about that. But science and math and like you're really smart.
Thank you. I've always loved math and science, and I'm kind of a little bit embarrassed to admit it, but I was always that nerd in elementary school, always like raising my hands, knowing the answers, and all the other kids are like, when is this girl just gonna shut up, right? I was but then I also really love art and music, and my interests are kind of like all over the place.
Eclectic.
And, and again, that's not to sound like holier than
no
thou or
this
whatnot.
It's okay. This interview's about you, just so you know.
But I've always loved math and science, so I made sure in high school I've exhausted all the math options. I have all the like calculus and vectors, data management, advanced functions and whatnot. And then I ran out of room on my time schedule. so and I wanted to get arts and drama on there. So I kind of ran out of space for the sciences. So actually now I'm doing online biology. And I did the first semester of a 12X at Northern, and I did chemistry, grade 12 chemistry, just to make sure I had all my boxes checked, because like you said, I haven't gone off to post-secondary yet. I'm still not really sure what I want to do, because I'm having a hard time pinpointing, on just
it's hard when
one
you're 18.
thing. And so I'm kind of allowing myself that time to explore every single one of my options and take some time to really think about that, because I don't want to rush the decision, right, and go off to university or wherever, and then be stuck in something that I figured out I don't really like that much. And it's also a lot of money too. So I don't want to really go and spend all that money and then be like, oh my goodness.
There is an option in there, and I don't know if mom and dad will be mad at me for saying this, but maybe not going to college or university. I mean, that is an option, right? Like a lot of people, I didn't go, and do what you love, right? And it's not a bad thing to go and have an education and whatever and grow. So, but it sounds like you've put a lot of thought into it. Probably had a lot of conversations with mom and dad about what to do, what not to do. But let's talk about the music. Where did music first come into? Because I remember the question, because you were singing and stuff. Like, this has just been a part of you. Like, but then when did you decide? Was it 7 or was it 10 or 12 that you're like, I want to do that?
I don't know, because I've always been singing, and I remember watching clips, like all the home videos and whatnot of me, like 3 years old, just singing that it's gonna be all around the house. And so I loved singing so much, and eventually my parents are like, okay, well, we gotta sign this kid up for voice lessons.
Right.
So I was originally doing them with Erin Thomas. So she moved to Texas a while back, but she was an awesome woman, and she really started me off on the whole, and she made it fun. She was a lot of fun with it, and constantly inspiring me to sing more, but then also honing it a little bit and working on,
She was great.
Pitch and tone and all that kind of more technical stuff about singing to make you sound good. And then I forget when I stopped lessons with her. I can't remember if it was because of COVID or because she moved. Right. or what it was, but eventually I stopped taking lessons with her. And when I was 7, so around the time you interviewed me, I was playing guitar, and I decided after a couple months in that I hated that.
Oh.
and I completely scrapped it, and my parents are like, well, we're not going to keep paying money for you to go into guitar lessons if you're not going to practice and you're hating it, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So, I after stopped taking voice and then quit the guitar before that, I kind of hit a little bit like of a plateau.
Okay.
Right? So I didn't really have any real like purpose to put the music towards. So I stopped, singing as much, and I didn't touch the guitar at all. And then eventually that's where kind of Rebound Rocks came in, and it was such a huge, like when you think of pivotal moments in your life, I always think of that Rebound Rocks audition, because it really just like set my life on the path that it is now. And I'm so...
But so you did keep playing guitar then?
Yeah.
Now,
so I think I picked it back up again, maybe again around like the start of high school, so maybe 14.
Okay, all right.
And I, for the longest time, like maybe a couple years, I only knew a couple little licks on the guitar. And I would be like, oh yeah, I'm a guitarist, I play guitar, And then I met Maggie, because she was also in Rebound Rocks.
Right.
And she was saying, it might be fun if you came over and we jammed together and you bring your guitar. And I was like, oh, this is so cool, my first real jam. And I was getting excited. I get to play with other musicians.
Right.
And then I get there and we get all set up, and Kevin Churchill is showing me how, because he's got this basement filled with all this equipment. It's really awesome. So he gets me all set up. He's teaching me how to work all the things, and then Maggie goes, "So what song do you want to play?" And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God, I don't know any like full songs."
Right.
I had just a couple little licks. I had no full songs whatsoever. And eventually she goes, well, we could do like Smells Like Teen Spirit. And so I kind of did like some a cappella stuff. Like she was on the drum kit. Yeah. And I was just singing. But then I was going like, boom, but don't, like, kind of imitating a guitar. And so I went home that night and I was like, I'm going to try and learn this on the guitar. And so I must have been, I think, 16 when I actually took guitar seriously and started really trying to learn it and become better at it. And I just got really passionate about it after that. And now I love to put the two together and go out and do
you've
gigs
done
and whatnot.
Solo gigs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, so let's back up here again, just so as an observer watching you, I've seen you grown from afar from 7 to where you are now, and it's been an enjoyable journey for me, quite honestly, to go, wow, look at this, who said she was going to, and now she's doing it. But like doing a solo gig, the confidence it takes to do that.
It's terrifying.
Right. But you've recognized the stepping out of the comfort zone kind of thing, right? And you seem to keep growing as a person, obviously, but as an artist. And do you remember your first solo gig?
Oh, I do. It was at Cafe Mexico, which is it's closed down now, I think. But in the downtown area. And I remember my mom was just kind of, on Facebook, as one is, and they were saying that they wanted musicians, and she was like, well, you could do this because you play guitar and you sing. And I was like, oh, I really don't know. But then she reached out to them and they said, well, can she come in and like show us a couple songs and whatnot. And I think at the time I probably knew like 3 songs on the guitar and could sing with them relatively okay. Right. And so I went and I did those 3 songs and they were like, great. Do you think, I think it was not the upcoming weekend, but the next weekend. They wanted me in.
And you're like, wow, I only know 3 songs.
Yeah. And they said, okay, we need you for an hour and a half. Do you think you can do that? And me, never having done a gig in my life, I was like, an hour and a half. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. That's not too long. So I agree to it. And then I get home and I'm making like a Spotify list. I enter those 3 songs and it's like, okay, cool. That's like 8 minutes of music. and I suddenly have that realization.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, and I didn't want to cancel the gig because I was excited about it and getting to play live and getting to play live and getting to do all that
and getting paid.
Yeah, and getting paid to play music, and so I kind of just buckled down, and it was a little bit difficult because I was still in high school at the time. And I can't remember what grade it is. It was either 10 or 11, right? Yeah. So I had like homework and
you still had regular life, yeah.
Yeah, the full like 4 classes a semester, and I was putting myself in all that academic stuff. And then I also had Rebound Rocks gigs, and so it was quite the struggle. And like I honestly didn't know if I was going to get it on time, but I learned. I don't know, like...
well, you need about 12 to 15 songs,
yeah,
right?
Well, and 45 minutes is like 14 songs, is what I've learned. So I think I learned maybe
Every song, 4 minutes. So let's say 5.
Yeah.
12 songs is an hour. Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, I'd say like, I think, because I took a little break in the middle, so I think I learned like 26 songs or something.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I was just like... all the musicians will know like Marty Music on YouTube. So I watched a whole bunch of his tutorials and I just practice. And I was trying to find like I'm Googling constantly, easy songs on the guitar that you can sing to that are also crowd pleasers.
Can you imagine if you didn't have the internet?
Yeah, no, exactly. So the internet really came in clutch for that one. And, it wasn't the best performance of all time, but all my friends and family came out to support me, and I think we had a little backyard kind of preview at my aunt's house before then to kind of be like, okay, what do you guys think of this before going and performing it at the cafe?
Cool.
And
the pre-party.
Yeah, the pre-party. And they're like, oh, you're good. So, they all come into Cafe Mexico, and it was just a really good time. And I got paid.
Right.
And I was so, like, just kind of shook. I was like, I can get paid for doing something I love. And again, it all circles back to the being incredibly blessed thing, because while it's not like a salary like my dad has for doing computer stuff.
Oh, you're self-employed.
Yeah, and right now I'm 18, so I don't really have, a mortgage or anything like that. So I don't
live at home as long as they'll let you.
Yes, I don't really need a whole bunch of stinking money, right?
Yeah.
But it's nice to
But it'd be okay if you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So
I'll put that out there
you
in
did
the
this
universe.
gig and you were nervous, of course, and then but then you got through. Of course, your family's there. That's helpful. So they're clapping for you to keep the encouragement going, and then you've gone on to, like, say, Rebound Rocks. You had a great run with that, and on your own, and then with I see you do duets once in a while.
Yeah, Forced Epiphany. So that's actually more so my main thing right now, I'd say, because
what a cool name, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we it was fun coming up with that one because. Yeah, so I did one other solo gig after that because Maggie was my best friend back. She's still my best friend. And I was like, I want to play like with you somewhere. But drum kits are loud and crazy and obnoxious in cafes. Yeah. So we did some research and we found out what a cajon was, a little drum box. Yeah. And we were like, oh, we need to get you this thing. And we needed to get you this thing as soon as possible because then we can start going out and playing together. And so I did one other solo gig, and then after that, it's just been Forced Epiphany. The whole, I think it's been like A year or so, like just over a year.
Yeah.
I think of doing that, and so that's kind of my main thing. And then every once in a while, you know, if like schedules don't line up, I'll take a solo gig. So what weekend was it? Very recent weekend. Oh, the first weekend of March. I had 2 little solo gigs because Maggie was out in Florida.
Right.
And those went pretty well. But yeah, that was my first solo gig in 2 years. So
Wow, okay.
I felt a little bit naked up there on stage because
got through it.
Yeah, I do prefer definitely playing with other people because it's also just like a surreal
Some energy and stuff.
Yeah.
You can feed off each other.
Yeah, it's a surreal bonding experience when you can play together with someone that it's kind of hard to explain to.
Sure. So is this it? Is this the thing? Is this the career path that you would say, because people do it, you know, and not even just, you don't have to be a big well-known name, right? There's a circuit and lots of people, even some local people that travel and do that. Is that, do you think, if I said, hey, you can, we'll take you on the road, we'll pay you some decent money to survive and live for the next 5 years, is that something you would do?
Well, like, yeah, definitely. Yeah. If it was enough money to be able to survive, live, eventually, like support a family, have a house.
So is that the goal then? Is that something? Or are you?
I think it will always be a part of my life.
Yeah.
Like the question whether or not it's a full-time thing, I don't really know yet because I don't really.
You don't know if you could, or you don't know if you'd like it to be.
I don't know if I could, and then also there might be like other things that I could find that I get really invested in. I get kind of a little, I guess, like hyper fixated at times on certain careers, so I'm just trying to be wary and cautious because I remember like in grade 10 I thought I was going to be a mechanic for the longest time. And then eventually I was like, oh, I really don't want to do that, you know? So I've been bouncing back and forth between so many different things. So I guess, I'm just trying to see if there's anything else.
So if not music, do you have any ideas of what that might be?
I've always kind of been into like medical stuff as a kid. I would always have these medical books going through it and whatnot. So I made sure, that I'm taking biology online now, and I have my chemistry, so that if, you know, someday I do say, oh, I want to go and do something medical in school, that I have all the prerequisites and whatnot I can use to do that. My mom suggested maybe being a pharmacist since I have kind of a bit of a hard time. Well, no, I can keep calm under pressure.
Okay.
But I don't know if that constant anxiety, you know, every day in life is like good for me.
A lot of responsibility.
I honestly don't know how.
But maybe not at 18, but maybe you could grow as a person into that. Do you read books, listen to books?
I used to read a lot more than I do now.
Yeah.
In my free time, I'm always like listening to music on my headphones. So maybe I should, you know, look into audiobooks because I've heard a lot of people saying that they've
like
had fun with
I
that.
listen to like motivational stuff, mindset stuff. Mel Robbins, I love Mel Robbins. If you haven't heard of her, you just need to go find her. You've performed on some big stages too, right? You know, with Rebound Rocks, going back to that. And now there's you're doing your own thing, Forced Epiphany. I still love that. That's amazing. And then now you're also playing with another band.
So the people, because Rebound Rocks unfortunately is no longer a program at Rebound. You know, Steph retired, so it kind of all disbanded after that. But all the kids and young adults and whatnot that were in Rebound Rocks all decided to get together outside of the program, because we all still have that very close connection.
Sure.
And we all still want to play music.
Let's keep rocking.
Yeah, so we decided to kind of move into, it's not even really a separate band, I guess. It's just, the same people coming together, and now we're just no longer at Rebound, but we're still trying to get out there and do gigs and have a lot of fun doing that. And yeah.
So Keegan's still involved, and all the, I guess, the originals, or many of the originals. Mm-hmm. But that was an interesting time for you, because you were, what, 14 or something when you started in there? Or how old were you when you started with Rebound Rocks? Do you remember?
I think 16.
Yeah, okay. And then you learned from others, and then as you grew up until recent with it, like others were learning from you, right?
Yeah.
And you were kind of becoming their mentor. Mm-hmm. That time in Rebound Rocks is I'm guessing a very memorable. Yeah. You'll take that when you're 40 and 50. You'll remember Rebound Rocks.
I definitely would not be the same person I am today without that program, because like I said, I was kind of.
What changed for you?
Well, I was kind of, like I said, I had nothing to put, my singing towards or my guitar towards. And then all of a sudden, again, my mom was actually on Facebook, and they said that they're doing auditions for Rebound Rocks. And my mom, she's always like my biggest supporter. My dad too.
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to go out and do this audition, I think. And I go like, oh, am I even like cool enough or to be in a rock band?
Cool
you know what
enough.
I mean?
Yeah, interesting.
Cool enough or talented enough or whatnot. Like I almost felt like I was kind of subpar. And then I after a lot of tears and mom coaxing me into it, I finally went into the audition, and I sung for Steph, and I think it was Pompeii was the song I auditioned with, and I did it a cappella because I didn't realize that normally to auditions you bring in some sort of accompaniment.
Yeah, right.
Or whatnot, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it a cappella, and she goes, okay. And I sung it for her, and then a couple days later I get a call, and she's like, you're in. And I'm like, what the heck?
What was that feeling?
I was so excited, ecstatic beyond, I don't know, like I was so happy. And then I got there to the first practice, and I'm seeing all these people, and I'm like, these are really talented musicians, and I'm like, they're all around my age.
Right.
Which is crazy, because every time you talk about talented musicians or people make references to people out in the community, it's always a lot of older people, which they're,
I like that you said older, not old.
Yes, a lot of older.
There is a lot of talent around Sarnia.
Yeah, a lot of older folks, and yes, like absolutely 100% I agree. But you never really hear about the younger generation very often, and then all of a sudden I go there and I'm blown away, and it really just motivated me and pushed me. I was like, I got to get better, because I got to be on the same level as these guys, right? I'm in a band with them now. I don't want to be the weak link. And so I just like practiced every day for hours and hours and hours and hours, and just getting slowly more confident over time on the stage and whatnot. And it was really, it was a group I felt a very huge sense of belonging in, because I've had friend groups throughout high school, but I think this was like elementary school and whatnot, and I really clicked with those people. But then I was feeling a little bit lost maybe in those middle years.
Okay.
And these were the first people that in a while that I really just clicked with, and they were so nice and supportive and encouraging, but they were also very sarcastic and funny, and I grew up with a very sarcastic family, right?
Yeah.
And so we'd always kind of...
No way.
Yeah. We'd always kind of poke fun at each other, but it was all in, you know, like it was all very light and...
Yeah.
And
so Rebound Rocks really did a lot for you.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier, like even kind of a pivotal moment in your life.
It really made my confidence soar, and like I said, I was so inspired to get on their level that I was playing every day and really improving rather quickly because of just how long I was practicing for and how often. And yeah, so I would not be the musician that I am today or the person that I am today.
Talk about
Rebound Rocks.
Talk about Steph.
And, she's awesome.
Right, there you go. And your face just lights up when you say her name. What does Steph do for you?
I went on for a while at her retirement party because we all gave speeches.
Yeah, I remember.
And I think mine was so long. Some people might have been like bored out in the crowd a little bit because I was just going on and on about how she helped me discover who I am as a person when I was feeling very lost, because you know, high school and teenage years can be very confusing.
Yeah.
And
especially now, like I was in high school in the 80s, so that was a while ago, but especially nowadays, I think with technology and just how things are.
Yeah. So she really helped me kind of grow into who I was. And, you know, she like during practice would be like, oh, this sounds off. Can you try it this way?
Right.
Can you try adding this? And then she would work with me one-on-one for a while on the guitar, because this was still at the point before I kind of really jammed with Maggie. So I was just doing little licks and whatnot, but I'm like, because I was singing with the band, but I'm like, maybe I want to play some guitar with the band. So she was working with me one-on-one to help me with that. And she is just a guitar whiz.
Yeah.
So she's just so...
So you're still in touch with Steph?
Yeah. And she actually comes to the new band practices, and will still kind of be like, oh, that doesn't sound right and whatnot. Can we do that again? So she's still kind of, helping her out.
Kind of directing, helping, guiding.
Yeah.
I imagine she's got some pretty emotional attachments to you and the rest.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, she's been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Like another family?
Yeah, no, it does feel like a family. I kind of treat the younger kids sometimes. I don't know if they really like it that much, but I kind of treat them like a bunch of younger siblings, right? Because I'm so used to having these three walking around the house and trying to help them and be with them. So I can't really help it sometimes when I have all these,
it's just natural.
Yeah.
Instinct.
Like all these younger kids walking around, and I'm like, oh, make sure you're not like walking around in the dark or whatnot. Like, call me if you need a ride, and just trying to like be there for them and let them know
somebody cares, and I'm here if you need some help. And that's a great story. I love that you shared that. Let's shift gears a little bit to the family. Like, you're the big sister.
Yeah.
Do you feel a responsibility as the oldest?
So I don't think I'm the oldest, because I think we have Braden and then Keegan, and then there would be me. But as one of the oldest, I do kind of feel like a little bit of a responsibility. And I mean, sometimes these kids, like, they're even more skilled than me at what they're doing. Like, you've seen Emily play.
Yes.
She is.
It's sick.
It's like, I don't know how
I have
she
bragged
does.
about her since the first time, and like, she shreds that guitar.
Yeah.
And like,
she
you guys
just came
together.
out of nowhere.
I get a kick. Quick story too, back to Rebound Rocks days, the Captain Kidd days.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you know, I'm up there, and you know, I'm trying to keep everybody on time. You know, there's time slots, and there was like, can we do one more? And it was like, okay, one more. And then they do Metallica.
Master of Puppets.
Master of Puppets. It's like an hour-long song.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, one more. Like I thought maybe.
Yeah.
Then I was like going, wow. I remember Steph even saying to me, she goes, I don't know another band that would even attempt to do that song from people who've been playing for 30 years. That's a huge compliment.
She's just incredible. So, like, yeah, at times I definitely feel like I'm mentoring them a little bit, but there's definitely points where I'm like, okay, you know what you're doing.
We learn from
you
each
don't
other.
need my input, or you know what I mean? Like, and
but still having a third party, you know, criticism, positive or whatever, right? You know, to go, well, you know, that was amazing. Do you ever think about in that part right there doing that? I think that would be cool. So more of an idea, not necessarily criticism.
And
right?
We have a newer kid. I don't know if you've ever met with Darius before.
I don't think so.
But so he joined the band. Oh, I'm not even sure when, but he's one of the more recent additions, and so we're trying to get him, you know, playing guitar a little bit more. And it's nice because I've played the songs 100 million times. So if he ever gets, well, he knows his stuff as well, most definitely. But because sometimes we kind of just throw kids up there, you know, like never at gigs. But at practices, we'll be like, "Oh, you could play this song, right?" And
so,
they've never, they've never practiced it at home. So sometimes he'll be like, "Well, I've never touched a song a day in my life," and he's a very quick learner. So it's really handy because I can just, you know, for like 2 minutes, just go over the song with him, and he gets up there and he just does it. So it's really cool to be able to.
That must be, I know for me, watching who doesn't play, like I used to tinkle the ivories back in the day, but to see that growth from you and the others that I have known from the start of Rebound Rocks, and watch, and just, it's astounding. It's and honestly, see, I don't know whether to call you Aveline or Kaz, because I know you both ways, but to listen to you talk.
Yeah.
And I remember even as a young child, to listen to you speak, like, you're so mature.
Thank you.
Beyond 18. I mean, you're 18, but you're still like
I've always kind of
just the way you speak about, you know, I'm invested, and I did it, and it's like, I don't know another 18-year-old says the word invested, you know, right? But the growth is I'm lost for words. Like, I'm so proud of you, like to see that. And I don't know how much that means to you but like, I have been paying attention, and you know, and I think part of it, and I my regular viewers will know I say this a lot, but surrounding yourself with the right people makes a huge difference. Some friends, you know, you talk about high school and stuff. Some friends, did you have to go not hanging out with you?
It was kind of, a little bit strange, because I've been trying to, you know, learn how to surround myself with the right people, because, you know, my family's always been great. I haven't really had any issues with family at all. But then it, like, outside, you know, sometimes it gets a little bit confusing, and I think it like started like the last couple of years in elementary school. I would often like encounter these people, and it kind of just sucked the life out of me a little bit, because it was just, you know, negative
drama
all the time. And I think, like, I'm a huge believer that everything in the universe happens for a purpose or a reason. So I think it kind of throws the same lessons at you over and over again until you finally get it. So I would just keep encountering these people over and over again, and I would be kind of a doormat, wouldn't really set boundaries, you know, and so now I'm trying to kind of learn how to set those boundaries and how to be like, hey, like, you can't poke fun at me, or like, I can't be the only person that you talk to about your issues, because then, you know, like I would push often for some people to go to therapy, and they'd be like, oh,
I want to help you, but I can't. Yeah.
And then they just shut down, you know. So I try to help as much as I can.
Were you like the go-to? Like,
yes, sometimes.
Go talk to Kaz.
Yeah. Sometimes it felt a little bit that way, and I love to help and listen to people, so I don't want people to take it as like, oh, Kaz doesn't want me to talk to them. But it's just like when I'm the only person, and like when I suggest certain things, like they just shut down, because then it's just a roadblock of.
You have to protect yourself too, though.
Yeah.
Right? I guess that's what boundaries are.
Because then, like, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. So I would give them advice how to maybe not solve their problems, but how to, you know, kind of navigate that, and they would just shut down. And I'm like, well, why am I even talking to you then? Like, just to, like, do you want...
They're hard lessons to learn sometimes, because, well, my heart's in it. I want to care for you and I want to help you, but... This is really bringing me down, and I'm feeling some negative vibes here that I don't like. You know, like you can be in a room with a whole bunch of people that are negative, but you're forced to be in that room because you have to do your homework in that room, whatever the reason, right? And you can say, well, I just shut that out while I'm in that room, but it doesn't work. Yeah, it still seeps in a little bit because you're overhearing a conversation or you're hearing the drama, right? Yeah. Good for you for recognizing that at a young age as well, because I think a lot of I know some people my age are still trying to figure that out, right? You know. Yeah. Where do you is that where mom and dad come back into play again? Is you like, listen, I'm dealing with this. So you really open line of communication with mom and dad, eh?
Yeah, they often tell me like, oh, you need to say X, Y, and Z to this person, and you need to set your boundaries. But confrontation is always kind of something I've struggled with. Like, I just like
speaking up for yourself.
Yeah, or even just saying like what you said upset me. I need you to not do that. Like, for whatever reason, I just kind of, I'm more inclined, and it's bad, but I'm more inclined to kind of run away from the situation than, you know.
If it's a bad situation, there's nothing wrong with running away from it.
But speak up for myself like that. So that's also something I'm trying to work on, and they'll be like, oh, you really need to say something to this person, because they might not even realize. It might not even be a person that is malicious, or
they maybe had no intention of hurting your feelings or whatever too.
And so I just need to, I'm trying to work on, you know, setting boundaries.
Well, the trick there, I think, too, is, you talk about, like, Facebook. Yeah. People say, oh, Facebook's a horrible thing. It's not Facebook that's the problem. It's people using it. But, like, if I have a problem with you, hey, Kaz, can I talk to you privately for a minute? Just over here in the corner for a minute? Not in front of everybody. I newsfeed on Facebook, or I private message you and say, listen, when you did, and I've found, and I've had to do it, and it's not an easy thing to do, because if it's an awkward situation, right, you know, but if I tell you what happened, if you're any kind of a friend, you're probably going to react and go, oh my goodness, David, I'm so sorry, whoa, I did not mean that. That's a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody says, oh, you're being too sensitive, it's like, those are your feelings. Yeah. I don't have to agree with your feelings necessarily, but those are yours, right? You know? Yeah. So, it takes time to filter those things out. And is there anything, like I'm going to put you on the spot here, but you can talk to mom and dad about anything, right? Yeah. Like anything. And that means some awkward things at times, I'm sure. My dad used to say, Kaz, if it feels like it's going to be an awkward conversation, it's probably one you need to have sooner than later.
That's true.
Because you get all stressed out, right? And we go, oh, I don't know what they're going to say. I'm going to just puke it up, get it out there, and away you go. So you got the music. Thanks for sharing that too, because that's important for people to. I'm not sure if you realize. Do you realize the impact that you have on others?
I feel like I'm not very aware of it until somebody says something.
Mm-hmm.
And not to be that person that sounds like I need like constant validation, but sometimes you just get kind of like trapped in your own mind a little bit, and then all of a sudden someone says something and you go, wow, like it kind of opens up your brain a little bit, and you know, and so people sometimes they'll say to me like that I've made a huge impact on their lives, and I'm just happy that I can do that for them, right? Because I might not know, like,
you might not even know you're doing it.
Yeah, my overall like purpose for life or whatnot, but I think like at the end of the day, if I can just leave things a little better than the way I found it,
just love it.
Then that's what I want to do. And so I think career-wise, I'm not sure how that looks yet, but I know I want to.
You got time.
Yeah, I know I want to like put something out there into the world that affects people in a positive light, like whether it's music or something else, or just do something where even if it's just a couple people, you know, I can change their lives for the better. And
that's awesome.
That's kind of what I'm shooting for a little bit.
Well, I think you're
whatever form it takes.
I think you're on the right track.
Thank you.
And I know I said it, but I'm super proud of you, and
thank you,
and blessed to know you and your family, quite honestly.
Yeah.
We've known each other for 11 years now, I guess, right? And
time flies.
Just right, keep going. And I'm excited for you for the future. I got to wrap things up here, but any plugs? So you got any gigs coming up you want to share with anybody?
You can check out,
or just where can we find you?
Yeah, so we have a little group on Facebook for Forced Epiphany. It's like Forced Epiphany Acoustic Duo that you can check out. We've been putting up some new socials for our new band, The Infinite. So that's on Facebook, Instagram, and can find me at Kaz Music on Instagram.
Okay.
And,
we'll put all that in the comments so people can find you.
Yeah, all that music related stuff. Oh, and you can also come check out Rent in May.
Oh yeah, right. We didn't get a chance to talk about that, but you're in Rent, the production.
I'm ecstatic. I'm looking forward to that so much because it's my first ever Theater Sarnia production.
Good for you.
I kind of get to explore the theater scene while I'm still in the music scene. I'm going to
have to get my tickets to come and check that out. ImperialTheater.net, everybody. Kaz, thank you so much.
No problem.
Once again,
thank you so
for
much
everything and sharing. And this was just a great interview. We had so much fun. So you know what I'm going to say to you? Click the love button for Kaz, and click the share button so we can share her story and everybody else that I have here on the show. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. We'll see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now. Rock on.